Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast, where even though it's not the video game, we all made the rule, no one gets to play as Oddjob. I am your host, the Mayor Jeff Hornacek. We're just a bunch of bros drinking beer and watching movies, and this is another one of our world-famous movie commentaries. This time on the 007 movie, Goldeneye, which as of right now is currently streaming on Netflix. So while you get your movie sunk up with us, we have ours paused at the 7-second mark, roughly, where the lion in the MGM logo has just roared for a second time. So while you get lined up with us, let's go around and meet the fellow bros. First, we go to the American hero, Nate Thurmond. Nate, we probably remember the N64 game much better than this movie, but do you have any recollection of this James Bond film we're about to embark on?
Yeah, we were just talking about this off pod, and I was trying to think. I literally have probably seen this once, and it was, which is sad to say now that we can say this going forward, but 20 years, literally, legitimately 20 years ago, since this came out 15 or 25 years ago. I saw it once. I probably enjoyed it when I watched it when I was 10 or whatever. But obviously, in our lives and probably everyone else around our age, the video game was a much larger impact. It was probably one of the first or the best first-person shooter games, or that really got that first-person shooter game roll kind of rolling after that.
We'll talk about it a lot, but I'm pretty sure I've seen a lot of lists where it is either number one or in the top 3 of best video games ever made.
Then you get. Yeah,
I mean, even if
Halo,
you don't count it as number one, it's the influence. It developed the Halos and all the games we got afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that voice is our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli. Now, Cycli, your father passed down great knowledge and reverence of the James Bond franchise. Are you ready to have that semi-destroyed in the next 2 hours?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, what's funny about my dad? So, if you don't know me, my dad is obsessed with James Bond. It's been his first love. The first date he ever took my mom on back in the 60s was a James Bond movie.
That's cool.
So, yeah, he's always been obsessed. So what's funny is he's not a purist though. He has no problem saying when a James Bond movie sucks. He hates Roger Moore more than anyone else in the world. So
he does get shit on. I almost feel like Brosnan gets a pass because his scripts were so.
I think that's a lot of, and that's what I was going to talk about in this one was my dad kind of looked at Pierce Brosnan as a good Bond who just was dealt shitty material, whereas Goldeneye is definitely his best, but the scripts just did not serve him well. I think what Daniel Craig is doing, I think Pierce Brosnan could have done all that, but it was more gimmicky back in the 80s and 90s, and Roger Moore kind of started that.
Good point. All right, we are going to press play on Goldeneye in 3, 2, 1, play. So when I was a kid, do you guys remember the TV show Remington Steele?
I've heard of it. I really don't remember it, no.
So it was I think it ran from 82 to 89, but Pierce Brosnan was supposed to actually be James Bond and replace Roger Moore in 84, I read, but Remington Steele would not let him out of his contract.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
He definitely has the look. He has the suave nature to him. I remember my first memory of Pierce Brosnan was Mrs. Doubtfire.
100%.
Oh, yeah. And this intro, obviously, same as the video game, right, where he shoots you. Golden gun, obviously, one shot. You know the rules.
And I will say this, too. I mean, again, when you play other video games that have been based on movies or stories, the video game, what's so impressive of how much it does follow this movie. I mean, this is the first level. The dam scene is absolutely where the game starts. And it's hard to watch this movie without the game context.
I was going to say, if you're a 90s kid out there, just be prepared. We're going to talk a lot about the video game throughout this because it's what I really remember.
I might be getting on Amazon right now to see if I can get this if I don't already have it.
I'm trying to think if I do.
Yeah, my games are 5 feet in front of me. I could look, but I'll save that for another time.
In this day and age, we would order it online before we would get up off the couch. Cycli showing it off. That's basically porn to me that you have that cartridge.
I have. This is my pride and joy right here. This is my Goldeneye cartridge right now.
I remember
and I will say this too. It completely holds up.
So the bungee jump scene here, this is at the end of the first level, though, right? If I remember, the cinematic.
Yep. This is how you beat how you finalize the first level.
Would you guys ever bungee jump? There's no way you could get me to.
No.
Now, where he's bungee jumping right now, no, because it looks like you could hit the wall. I might try it like over like a bridge, maybe.
I did skydiving once, but bungee jumping for some reason in my head is much scarier.
So before we get started, I do have the Horns fun facts returning today. Not as many, though. I was looking through IMDb, and it's just slim pickings. But a nice one to lead off with, and Cycling, this is kind of to your point, how at this point in the lore of James Bond, things were starting to shift. This is the first completely original James Bond movie without reference to any Ian Fleming novel or short story. So therein lies, maybe not the problem, but sort of where we diverge.
And James Bond, who, I mean, again, if you're into the actual story of the Ian Fleming novels, you know, it was obviously Cold War, USSR, always the villain. This is after the fall of the wall and fall of the USSR. So James Bond kind of had to like find that new enemy. And they do again in this one. It's still kind of the USSR, but the next few ones, like I think Tomorrow Never Dies, the villain is like a journalist.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, like they kind of, you know, they're not sure what they want to be. And honestly, the reboot they kind of did with Daniel Craig was, you know, everyone can sit there and tell you how amazing Casino Royale is. But they had a choice. They kind of had this like marker. They had to be like, do we keep going gimmicky or do we just try to reset this whole thing?
He walked past what looked like a pretty good slab of ribs, I gotta say.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to throw those in a smoker pretty soon. They look pretty good.
I do feel bad for Pierce Brosnan for these movies, though, because I think he came out like just on fire, and then it just went to shit. And I don't know if he's really been in much since. I mean, I don't know. I don't really follow his career, to be honest.
Yeah, not really. Mamma Mia. There's Trevlin, Sean Bean, who's a villain in like fucking everything. Sorry, spoiler alert if you haven't seen this. I did think as a kid, two things that I remembered from that scene. Number one, this was the first time I learned about silencers, because they like everybody has them. And then also 006, I was like, holy shit, I guess it would make sense. There's like a bunch of other agents.
Yeah, the silencer really came into its form.
Because you have to use it a lot
especially for our generation.
Yeah, in the game, you know, you don't want the guys to hear you go every time you kill one of them.
Yeah, no, Cycle, you were just mentioning a second ago, like the USSR is involved in, like, it was, the wall had fallen and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of crazy. Like, we look at this movie and it was in our lifetime, we're like, oh, it's pretty recent. It was only 6 years before this that the Berlin Wall fell.
Yeah.
Which is insane to think about. It was only 6 years before this movie.
Our generation really is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this looks like in the first Austin Powers, like his lair. Lair.
That's why, like, so in a funny way, my dad, again, fucking loves the Austin Powers movies because they do such a good job of just making fun of every ridiculous thing in the James Bond movies. You know,
the first
he
and
can
second,
enjoy them for it.
Yeah, the first one especially, but after that it kind of got its own identity, Austin Powers. But the first one is a great parody film. It's like a love letter, but at the same time, like, points out some of the more ridiculous things James Bond has done. I think there actually is a website, and if you know this, please tweet at us at Bro4Squad or write it in the comments. But I think there's a website that tracks how many women James Bond has slept with throughout the movies.
There was an SNL skit years ago, and it's like where he's like the James Bond is visiting his doctor, and he has literally like 25 STDs.
Who's playing James Bond in the skit?
I can't remember, but it's so good. It's just
by the way,
the doctor's like, yeah, you've tested positive for everything.
Running down the stairs is not a good strategy. Like, he can just easily mow you down.
No, you got to keep your high ground.
See, you could do this what's happening in the movie, you do this exactly in the game. You put those bombs on those gas canisters.
Are these the timed mines or the ones that you have to set off with the trigger?
I think these are the timed ones. But in the game, I think it's a trigger.
Proximity mines in the game? Great.
Oh, my God. Did you guys ever do the slappers only?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was hilarious. I know during the game, it was always protocol to say, no looking at other screens.
And everyone would be like, I wasn't looking, I swear.
I've seen some setups where people will put like cardboard boxes to
Oh,
divide
yeah.
up where they are.
I would pay a ridiculous amount of money for someone to develop it on one of the new systems, and we can play it online.
Why isn't that something that's happened yet? Come on.
When will the Switch get the N64 games? Is what I want to know.
Oh my god! But seriously, can you imagine updated graphics for this game? Keep it exactly the same. Just update the graphics and allow online play. It would make millions of dollars.
Yeah, if you open that up to online, look at what Fortnite's doing. This would
Everyone would.
And
so much money
Fortnite,
for that.
yes, offense is probably dog shit compared to this game. This is a good strategy.
Yeah, just the nostalgia behind it.
This is us in college, Nate, after we bought like 4 kegs and we're trying to wheel out. Can someone help us get this in the car?
Don't
the
mind
cops.
us.
He had to shoot that guy. He's like, we got to get this roster down to 12 by spring training anyway. So mistakes like that just make my decision easier as the coach.
I just love the respect he has for. He's like, this is a good move on your part, man.
Are GameStops considered essential business? Are they open right now?
I just bought my PS2 online yesterday, so
Okay.
they do a thing called in-store delivery where like you can show up and they'll like run it out to you in a hazmat suit.
Now we're on our 3rd level of the game.
Damn, I didn't realize how much they consolidated the first 20 minutes into the
Yeah,
game.
we got a lot of it. Wait, what happened to your PS2? That you need a new one.
It's just inconsistent. Like it'll play actually my PS1 games because I've been playing Crash Bash a lot, but it won't play my PS2 games. And I found all my memory cards, so I want to play like our MVP, Dynasty, and NCAA. So I bought one for a new one actually from GameStop for $50.
Yeah, I've still
That's
got
awesome.
that one. I still got that one that we bought on Amazon at my house, but I haven't tried booting it up.
Yeah, that guy refunded us, so if it works.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, he refunded us in full, so
I think he just wanted it out of his house.
I'll pay you to take this.
Basically. Oh! Would that stop the motorcycle? I'm not sure.
I think it would have
Yeah.
just gone over him. Yeah.
So the plane right now, like, it's just running on its own. He's got to catch it.
Yeah.
This dude looks so Russian.
It's so absurd. This is so absurd.
It is absurd. That's a cool shot, though.
That's
yeah,
fucking
it
awesome.
I love it. I love
Stuntman
it.
had to die to get the shot, but worth it. Oh, he's going to land in the plane?
Yeah, he's going to get in the plane.
I don't remember it being this ridiculous. I'm not complaining at all. This is fucking awesome. But I thought this was more in like The World Is Not Enough. Remember where he
Yeah. That's what I think.
surfs
This
on
really starts like because it gets really bad in Die Another Day and World Is Not Enough.
Yeah, Die Another Day, that's the one where he surfs on like an ice avalanche.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It just gets absolutely ridiculous.
Is that the Halle Berry one?
I think so.
Where Madonna did the song? Because I remember the song.
Yeah.
I think it was Adele.
No, Adele was
Skyfall.
when Daniel Craig, yeah.
I was just kidding. It came out in 95.
Man, she's got the talent. She's
4-year-old Adele.
Yeah, she was 2 years old.
Albert R. Broccoli presents.
That sounds so fake.
Hi,
One
Richard
thing
ate
Bond-
cauliflower.
Chris chopped carrots. What? One thing Bond has always had.
Something
though,
iconic about. Yep.
Yeah, awesome opening title sequences. Very sexual and violent.
I mean, if you put boobs in something, it's gonna be awesome. So
But they always do last about like 4 minutes. They do the entire song.
That's true. If you have to take a shit right now, go and come back, and we'll still probably be like halfway through it.
What's
Getting
funny is, as iconic as this movie is for Pierce Brosnan, I don't feel like this song is memorable. Because like some of the James Bond songs, like that, like like you just mentioned, Nate, like, I don't really remember any of these being a big deal.
yeah,
It's like a big honor to get to do the Bond song, right? Didn't Sam Smith
Yeah.
do one recently?
Sam Smith, and then I think the new one for, what's the new one coming out? Not a Time to Die. What something Time to Die?
No Time to Die.
Yeah. I think Billie Eilish did
Yeah.
that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So is it out?
Well, it was supposed to be being released in April, and
Well,
now
yeah,
I've heard it. I've heard
Oh,
it.
the song.
Also, the song's out.
Yeah, the song's out.
Oh, okay.
How is it?
It's not a banger. It's not as good as Skyfall by Adele, but
Does she just whisper the whole song again?
she
James
speaks
Bond is gonna shoot you right in the dick.
in the dick, penis dick.
I'm definitely one of those old people now. I'm like, Billy, I don't get her, man. Like, I'm definitely one of those old people.
Yeah, that makes me feel like a Gen Zer. Or not a Gen Zer.
Yeah.
No, that's right. Wait, no, Gen X. Sorry.
What are we?
Millennial, bro.
Millennial or Gen Y.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
The font for this looks like someone made it on like Final Cut Pro.
It's pretty simplistic.
One other fact that I think is important to note before we actually get into the movie. So Agent 007 kills 47 people in this movie, making it the highest amount of people James Bond has killed in a single movie. I believe that's just to date, so I'm not sure if Craig has topped that.
Wow, that's an interesting fact.
I'm always curious with those numbers, though. Like, if there's an explosion, who's the one like really keeping track of it?
How do you know how many people died in there?
Banner and I had this
Blew up
debate.
that barrel, which killed 5 people. So.
Yeah, we don't know what kind of medical care some of these guys are getting.
He has aged beautifully for 9 years later.
He really has.
Not a day goes by for him. See, this is my dad. He drives the minivan, and he always imagines he's James Bond behind that thing.
Have to. You gotta live your best life. Who's this square with him?
Is that Moneypenny?
That's Famke Janssen, of course, from Taken and the X-Men movies.
I remember this girl in the video game was super hot for an N64 version, you know?
Definitely the type
really
of,
square boobs.
Cone. Damn it, that's what I was going to say.
it was the cone tits. That was like what the system was great at. There is no car driving in the game, right? It's all just first person.
There's a tank driving.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite levels when you get behind the tank and you just can blow everything up. Doesn't she kill people with her thighs? It's kind of hot in this movie.
It is.
I'm like, look, if I'm going to go, that's a decent way to go.
Probably half the reason her kill count is so high is a lot of the guys just stop resisting.
I'm like, hey, could you kill me too?
Line starts right here, okay? To get killed. She's okay.
I always feel bad for Moneypenny. She is always wanting James, but he never gives it to her, you know?
She makes it too easy, though, man. You know, James, he likes the thrill of the chase. I'm sure they've hooked up once, maybe like a pity fuck at a Christmas party or something.
Yeah, he gets like really drunk at the MI6 Christmas party.
So, you know, Moneypenny, I've always fancied you.
Yeah, she's over sulking in the corner.
And he goes, "What's up, sad eyes?"
Q and M get on it.
This feels like Austin Powers now. There's like the second leg of the Tour de France.
Yeah.
The mountains.
I mean, that's what's funny is Austin Powers. Like again, the first Austin Powers is fucking incredible because of that. Then Austin Powers itself as it goes down.
And cue the bike riders.
Speaking of, isn't there supposed to be an Austin Powers 4? They always talk about it.
I've heard about this for years. I just don't think. Mike Myers
says
he's got some problems. I've heard.
I've heard he's awful as a person, supposedly.
Mike Myers.
Terrible to work with. Yeah.
Oh damn, that's disappointing. I hadn't heard that.
I know Dana Carvey and him have had a pretty bad falling out. Dana Carvey says he just stole like a lot of his jokes for the Austin Powers movies and never gave him credit for them.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's one of those like you can't look him in the eye type things if you're like an assistant or.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was actually like really like I was kind of upset about that, but he's also fallen. Like I mean, his movies are just not funny anymore. I don't know. I try to be a hater, but
he randomly shows up in shit. Like, he was in Bohemian Rhapsody.
What was
his weirdest?
Huh?
His weirdest appearance is Inglourious Basterds.
I was gonna say he's in that one.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
And I don't know about Moneypenny. There we go.
Like, is that Mike Myers? Nah, that's not Mike Myers.
That's
No, it took me out of Inglourious Basterds for a second.
Absolutely.
I was like, what? He's British? He's a British general? What the fuck?
So did James and Moneypenny just fuck right then?
I mean,
just a tip.
It's a small car. I don't know how, how nice that would be.
So this is something I didn't know until a few months ago, and Cycly may already know this. So I'll throw it over to Horns to see if he knows, and I'll ask, do you know where Pierce Brosnan is from?
Damn. I'll say Wales.
Say Scotland.
Oh, okay, you don't know. Good.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, because I didn't know either. He was actually born in Ireland.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I found that out from a Jeopardy episode a while back.
So is he the first non-British James Bond?
Yeah, the Jeopardy question I found, it was like something like the only Irish-born James Bond. I was like, I have no idea. And so he grew up in Ireland until he was like 11, and then he moved to London and lived there the rest of his childhood. So
his accent is a little bit of like a medley of those two.
Yeah.
He's not like full Liam Neeson with the Irish, but I can now that you mentioned it, you can definitely detect a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I think Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig, Pierce Brosnan, and Sean Connery absolutely fulfill. Like, they do a great job again taking scripts out of this. They can pull off the suave / just like kick your ass.
Yeah.
I think that's why I still feel bad for Pierce Brosnan in some of these movies. But then when you look at the Roger Moores, it's just like, dude, that was it was a comical. It was just like not even fun anymore. And he did the most. I don't know how James Bond survived.
He did more than Connery?
Yeah, he did the most.
Dude, these cards don't have the numbers on them. I'm too stupid to have to count how many clubs are on 8.
2. Yeah, once we get to like 8, 9, or 10, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, fuck off. Who I thought was always really underrated as Bond was Timothy Dalton.
My dad would love for you saying that. He really respected Dalton and didn't think he got any credit.
No, who was the one who only did one movie?
Oh, I know his name.
I think it was between Moore and Dalton, right?
It was George Lazenby or something like that.
Yeah, the last name is close. Something like that.
Why did he only do one? Did people hate him, or was he like a fucking dick?
No, he's not even an actor. This is a true story. It's actually there's a documentary about him. He just did Bond one time, and that's it. Like, it's pretty crazy. Like, I think the documentary is like Becoming Bond or something like that. And he was actually people liked him. My dad really liked him. He just wasn't an actor, and he hated the attention he got from it.
George Lazenby.
That's it. Okay. Damn. Yeah. I knew it started with an S though.
Thank you, Nate, for rarely doing what we should do, which is use the internet to look up things that we don't.
Yeah, and randomly, he is Australian.
What the? We're learning a shit ton today.
Yeah. My dad actually liked him. And then Sean Connery, this is a fun fact if you don't know James Bond. Sean Connery, after he quit James Bond, came back like 20 years later to do another Bond movie, but it's technically not considered in the overall context of James Bond movies. It's not like, it's just a one-off.
Oh, really?
Because the studio didn't have the rights, but they got Sean Connery for it. And I think it's Never Say Never Again.
Do they call his character Bond in it?
They do, yeah. And it was a play on words because when Sean Connery quit, he said he's never playing James Bond again. And so the name of the movie was Never Say Never Again.
All right, so in the film right now, is Bond here for business or pleasure? Like, obviously, Famke Janssen's hot, would smash.
One and the same, man. There's no difference for James Bond.
That's his great skill, is to be able to combine the two at all times. He would go to, like, those pampered chef parties where they, like, try to sell the Tupperware, but then he would also be, like, hooking up with the moms.
I think my favorite thing about James Bond is he's a spy, right? But he never actually abides by spy rules. He never takes on an alter ego. Like, even in the Daniel Craig ones, when he's with one of his counterparts, and they're trying to keep up this like idea that they're a married couple and they have different names. He's like, "Oh, I'm James Bond."
That's me.
That's me. And they're like,
I'm not
well,
afraid
aren't
to
we
tell you.
supposed to be, someone else? Like, nah, I'm James Bond. Let them know I'm here.
He's like, I break the fourth wall, and then I fuck the fourth wall. This play right here, off Broadway. The gadgetry is always interesting because, like, 95, I bet a lot of the shit that he has at the time deemed, like, futuristic. Maybe our smartphones can do some of it now.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Like, the thing he's using right now, it kind of looks like it has, like, the distance on it as well, which that just reminds me of my golf rangefinder.
Right. I was going to say, your rangefinder is probably way more accurate than that thing.
I'm pretty sure that is what it is.
Yeah.
No, like your rangefinder.
Yeah, just an 8-iron away. I could hit that.
Into the wind.
Okay, club up.
It does look like he's about to.
He says club up. He opens his case of condoms.
All right, this calls for the Magnum. Is that a CVS receipt?
If it is, we got about 15 more minutes of this thing turning off. The fuck is up with that, dude? Like, why are those so...
So, really random, and for those listening, right now is the time of stay-at-home self-quarantining for whenever this drops. But me and the wife went to the grocery store recently, and I feel like they're cutting back on the receipts at certain places just to, like, save paper or whatever, because I got a receipt, and I was like, this is way shorter than normal. It wasn't CVS, but it was another grocery store.
That's the true test. It's CVS.
I don't
know.
Hello. Famke Janssen banging this 8th grade principal looking guy.
He's a lucky guy right now. You know she's about to kill him, right? Like, I can't remember, but I'm assuming.
Why does that turn me on more?
He's just doing some anatomy research for third period.
This guy, it seems like he has a very hairy chest. I'm trying not to look at it, but
she keeps scratching it too.
The interview, you're hairy like a bear.
like a beaver.
What an O face.
People pay a lot of money for that, dude.
Kegels.
She's been working it.
That's what it is.
Chuck Farrell.
Is that his name?
Yeah, that was what it said on the ID.
Chuck Farrell from Nashua.
I think that'd be an okay way to go, guys. I'm not lying.
Absolutely. It's tough to feel sorry for him.
I feel like you feel good.
He got the foreplay in.
Yeah, going on a high note.
This is a nice yacht.
Another fact I have, Ray Fiennes auditioned for James Bond in this.
Really?
Did not get it, but he would later replace Dame Judi Dench as M in Skyfall.
That's true, yeah. I didn't know he went for that. I could see that.
That poor cabin boy, you don't fucking attack me.
He's like, I'm just the janitor. What the hell?
Kill him with the towel and then dab your brow with it. Ultimate slap in the face.
So, obviously, some of us have probably been on big ships like cruises and stuff. Have any of you actually been on like a private big yacht or anything like that?
I have not.
I haven't.
No. So if you're at home and you have a private yacht, shoot us the invite.
I've seen a nice yacht.
That's close.
Good enough for me.
After all this like COVID shit, I like the idea of being on a boat is just all the cruises. I'm like, no, never.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, even on a cruise, I mean, it's probably the same as like going to airport, being on an airplane, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but the act of being stuck on one.
That's true.
Like those people who are stuck for a month in those rooms. Yeah. I'm like, look how happy he is.
Nate, that eerily reminded me of in Burn After Reading.
Yes.
Spoilers for Burn After Reading. Skip ahead 30 seconds if you haven't seen it. But the scene where Brad Pitt gets caught in the closet and then gets shot and killed.
I'll never forget in theaters, like cracking up at the same time being like, oh shit, no, he's dead. Yeah. His face was so happy.
Yeah, very underrated movie.
Fantastic film.
Took me 2 watches to like get it, if you will.
I just love the Coen brothers because they just throw in every other movie goes from ridiculous to serious, and they just alternate.
The scene at the end where the woman is explaining to J.K. Simmons like what has happened, how fucking stupid everyone in the film is.
Yeah.
And he's like, so nothing really changed. He's like, no, all right.
You know,
Guys, I'm in love with her, to be honest with you.
I was going to say, Xenia would have a problem getting gay men to do what she wants, because she relies, I think, too heavily on the seduction, if we're being honest.
Yeah, and she needs to develop some other skills.
Especially dealing with sailors, man. Like, you'd expect a little more flamboyant guys on board.
Right. It's like you can't just throw the fastball. You got to get guys off of it. You got to have an off-speed pitch.
So the helicopter, I remember, was a big focus of the game.
Like getting to, I feel like every level ended, you had to like get to a helicopter.
Well, this helicopter they steal right now, that was a major, because I remember the ship level. Actually, the ship level was one of my favorites.
I don't remember the middle levels. I remember like the first three we already went over, and the cradle obviously is the last one.
Yeah.
The cradle's tough because those bridges, if you get stuck on those, like there's nowhere to go really.
And if that alarm goes off, you have like 500 guys coming at you.
Mm-hmm. It's the Iditarod now, of course.
Yeah. See, I remember this level too.
Yes, I do remember this one. Dude, this one is hard because every part of it looks the same.
The snow. Yeah, and they're wearing the white camo.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to find the game and get it back on the N64.
I was going to say, even if it's just you, dude, fuck multiplayer. The campaign is really fun.
I know you guys are talking about the campaign. It's getting me hard.
I can see that. Could you focus the camera back to your face?
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, that was really weird. Nate, this chick right here looks like if you dyed your hair, we have non-GMO, no dairy added Charlize Theron.
I see that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Boris right here was always my favorite as a kid, played by Alan Cumming. Interesting thing about him and Famke Janssen are both in the second X-Men movie. He plays Nightcrawler and she is Jean Grey.
Boris and the pens in this movie. So Natalia is obviously the main Bond girl in this one. Did she ever do anything else? Or was she like a foreign actress and this was like her one like English movie?
So I have IMDb pulled up. Natalia is played by Isabella Scorupco. And looking at her IMDb, the first thing that comes up is Goldeneye, so that's not a good start. She was in, do you guys remember Vertical Limit?
Sounds familiar. Is that like a mountain climbing movie?
Yeah, I think Chris O'Donnell's in it.
Oh, Chris O'Donnell,
Wow,
Jesus
what a
Christ.
She was in that in 2000, and then she was also in Reign of Fire.
I remember that movie.
The interesting thing about Reign of Fire, let me find the year on Reign of Fire here. 2002 is that it has Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey. Like a good buy low for both those guys.
I'm just saying Natalia is going from really hot to not hot and then back to hot really quickly for me. It's like nonstop. I can't decide.
Boris doing the same for me. Dude, it is funny. Like, okay, this is the state-of-the-art computer he has right here. This is like my Sega Genesis right now.
Yeah, this is bad.
What if the whole time he's just loading Sonic?
There's no road that looks like that.
Probably not.
I do respect this movie. I mean, this movie really, I think this is the first James Bond movie that deals with hacking.
Oh, really?
So at the time,
I mean, so
it was
95,
probably,
it's exactly. Sorry, yeah.
I was gonna say it's probably scary as shit. You're like, what? We don't need the internet if this is what's gonna happen.
I don't think. I mean, I could be completely wrong. Any of the Dalton or Roger Moore's. I mean, this might be the first one that really is dealing with computers because that is the focus of this entire film. And yeah, so like I think that's why this is still considered Pierce Brosnan's best one is because this did take like it was still gimmicky, but it still dealt with new age realistic issues outside of the USSR, whereas the next few Pierce Brosnan movies just went off the rails.
It was an interesting choice for them to do that. I guess they just wanted to make them more action movies and not like noir spy thrillers.
Yeah, I think they were just focused on getting big names and you get the what was the Denise Richards and her name was something Christmas.
Oh yeah. And then Terry
Like,
Hatcher
come on.
from Desperate Housewives and Lois
That's
and
right.
Clark, I think is in Tomorrow Never Dies. I think she's in the next one.
Yeah.
I think if I'm Pierce Brosnan and I watched like Casino Royale and watched some of the Daniel Craig ones, I'd be really pissed off.
Yeah, but to your point, like, and maybe he blames the Bond movies for this, but it's not like he's had this great career and his James Bond roles are like the one blemish
Yeah.
on his record. You know, it's like, what else has he really done? I'm not saying he's not talented.
No, yeah, I agree. I think it's just hard because he would openly say he hated the scripts, but he respected the role of
Dude,
James Bond.
That's the butler in the Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap. He's the British butler guy.
It looks like gluten-free John Hamm.
Lettuce wrap, yeah. Nate, was it you that had the Impossible Burger analogy one time?
Possibly.
You said like Impossible Meat Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Beyond Meat.
If you're listening at home, we have and I meant to write a squad blog on this, but we have a thing on the Broforce squad. When an actor or actress sort of looks like another actor or actress, we like to call them some diet or healthier version of that actor.
Sugar-free, 0-calorie, light,
Bagged cereal.
grass-fed.
Grass-fed.
Yeah, it's become a fun game because we keep trying to up the ante. Like, what's the most? Oh my! Why does that one guy have a plaid shirt on? Like, dress up for work, dude.
I love this level too. Fuck, see, this just makes. Oh, she is on it.
She just gets so aroused by murder.
Was she orgasming?
I think so.
At this point, she'll just shoot at the fucking wall to get off.
Does anyone have the subtitles on?
Yeah,
Yes.
It just said moans with pleasure.
I do. Did it really?
I swear to
How did I
God.
not see that?
It was when she's shooting the gun, yeah.
I've seen moans and groans at least 3 times on my subtitles so far.
I have
Maybe
said
like-
this multiple times on this pod. That's my dream job, is to be a subtitle writer. One day. One day. There was a subtitle writer who did an AMA on Reddit, and those little things, those little quips where it says moans with pleasure, that's entirely up to them.
Yeah, because I guess it's like their
They
interpretation.
can make that
right?
shit up, and I love it.
And if we're being honest, if you're someone who actually is,
outside of the script.
oh yeah, but like being serious for a second, if you're someone who actually is hearing impaired, that's like the subtext that I really need. Like,
Absolutely.
That helps convey more than like a lot of the dialogue does.
I think that would just be so fun. Like, yeah, all day. It's a pretty mindless job. You get to watch movies, type in the script, and then you get to have fun with it. To me, she's moaning with pleasure. Gonna type it. I don't know what I need to do to apply for that job or what context I need, but
Okay,
it's gonna
so
happen one day.
Natalia's not in on this. For some reason,
No.
I thought her and Boris were both involved.
They're both just like programmers. Boris is more involved. Boris is more of a corporate guy. Like,
Right.
he's all in for whatever they
He's-
need.
He's
She's
like
a good
Kevin
person.
Durant, right? He's the front runner. He'll just whatever team's winning, he like jumps with them.
Yeah, absolutely. He wears a COVID-19 jersey.
Her licking the coffee she turns it somehow sexual. Do you think the director told Famke Janssen, look, we're going to do one take of the scene normal and then just do one as horny as you possibly can?
What if he keeps telling her to stop with the horniness and she's like, no, this is what my character is.
Xenia is this horny. He's like, but it's coffee. I don't really know what about that would arouse you. So, Cycly, maybe you'll know this better than me, but for all the James Bonds, I feel like one of the issues maybe issues is the wrong word, but with the Brosnan ones, every plot ended up becoming more like end of the world. Before that, it did feel a little bit more self-contained, right? Like,
Sorry, you cut out right then. Can you say that again?
so a lot of the Brosnan plots center around like him preventing the end of the world,
Yeah.
right? And before that, weren't a lot of the James Bond, I don't want to say like more self-contained, the villains, but it was like, it wasn't like the fate of the universe was at stake.
Absolutely. Yeah, completely. It was more focused on an individual mission. right? Like, it could be problematic in the Cold War sense, but yeah, it's not like if I don't defuse this bomb, it's going to kill 10 billion people, right? Like,
Right.
It'd
be like,
and it definitely does turn into a gimmick, like later on.
It'd be like if I don't stop him, some pub in Winchester might have to close for a few days, which again to some Londoners could be the end of the world. That's me watering hole. Don't let it close, James.
I would have, bruv. I might.
It's good Cockney accent.
Very good.
He's so mean to Moneypenny, man.
That's what keeps her coming back, though, dude.
Look at this. What's the penalty for sexual harassment in the Me Too era, James Bond? Not gonna work.
He just wants to look at that ass.
Yeah. What's the Lil Wayne? Is it Lil Wayne? I hate to watch her go, but I love to watch her leave, or something. About staring.
Who says that?
We have that as our
after that he goes
in our kitchen.
Really?
Yeah.
Keep me running back and forth like a soccer team. You know.
That was pretty good.
That was actually Lil Wayne. He came in real quick and.
He's a big fan.
Dude, I don't know what it is about. I just love fucking schematics in movies. Like right here, this is the Eurocopter. Like, why do we need it?
That's why I love Super Troopers. Enhance.
So Judi Dench, cinematic legend, and we've said this.
Dame Judi Dench. Okay.
Beg your fucking pardon. But Judi Dench has two ages: 14 years old, and then this current age right now.
She looks good. Non-stop.
She doesn't age after this.
Yeah.
Correct. Like she was in Murder on the Orient Express, which check out a review Cycling and I did, like roughly 25 years after this, and she hardly looks older than she does right here.
I mean, in Skyfall, where she is a major character, she looks,
pretty close to the same.
Yeah.
She's also no, never mind. That's a different actress. I'll just go fuck myself.
I am glad she. Again, it's so funny though. Like as ridiculous as some of the James Bond movies got, like the fact that they were able to get her to be consistent in all of these movies, that's a major deal.
And James Bond canon is sort of like a kind of superfluous thing. Like they're not all connected, obviously, because he can't be. There is a rumor out there that says that it's 007 is just the code name that they've assigned.
Yeah, James Bond is the name for whoever is assigned 007.
Right. But then
I'm
in
a firm
Skyfall,
believer in that one.
But in Skyfall, don't they a lot of it seems to allude to the fact that like his family home and everything about his past is canon to like even the Sean Connery movies.
The Daniel Craig ones completely make it which is a compliment because they kind of gave it that realistic feeling again. Which is why I think they were so successful, is saying like, he is a person who had feelings, who had family, who had love and lost trust. And, where the Roger Moores and the Pierce Brosnans and they're just like generic whatever characters.
Damn, that was a dive right there. Nate, safe or out?
She was safe, but just depends on who the ump was at first base.
If it was Joe West, he's not getting down the line to make that fucking call. So what are they doing? Like, why are they trying to?
Looks like Banner diving into the first.
Yeah.
Every time.
And then there's not even a throw. It's like, well, you didn't even have to do that. So what happened to Boris? Did he go with the bad guys when that helicopter landed?
We're not supposed to know yet. She thinks he's dead.
Okay. Dude, I'm going to say this. Special effects right here, the explosions at least, not horrible for 95. Yeah.
So, fun fact I just found also, this was the first James Bond to use CGI.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
It is a pretty monumental thing, this movie. Like, honestly, for the era, like we said it earlier in the podcast, for being the first post-Cold War James Bond, it's just, I think it's more so this is a shame what happened after this movie. Not this movie, I think, is great, honestly, but it just goes downhill quick.
So I think you might have mentioned this earlier, and you were just saying this is the first post-Cold War James Bond. What was the James Bond right before this, and what year did it come out?
I
think
do
there
know
was.
this was the biggest gap between James Bonds.
Yeah.
I read there was a 6-year gap.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's the longest we've
that's
ever
what I was
had.
gonna say. I can't remember exactly what the last one was, but I
Okay,
think
so-
it was like 89.
Yeah.
With Timothy Dalton. It was 89 or something, 88, 89.
Gotcha.
So there was a big. I remember my dad telling me there was a big thought like they were just done with James Bond at this point. Like James Bond died with the end of the Cold War, essentially.
I gotcha.
And maybe this plays into that because this is the first one not based off of an Ian Fleming work. Maybe they had more to use, but maybe also that was like the end of the stuff that he wrote. So
Yeah.
like, well, it's over. Of course, nowadays we know if they can squeeze a single dollar out of it, they're going to make more. Natalia's had a rough
Yeah,
day.
James Bond is really the OG of just. What's that?
I said Natalia's had a fucking Monday right here, man. Every time you think this place is done collapsing, there's like another thing that falls through this.
What if the next shot was her looking at a poster of Garfield? And she's like, I know what you feel like.
She goes in the break room and she's like, as if this day couldn't get worse, someone took my lunch.
And it was lasagna.
Yeah.
You're right, Garfield. Mondays do suck.
What's that from?
I don't know. Garfield hates Mondays.
Garfield?
But there's some, maybe it's Barney Stinson. Someone makes
It is How I Met Your Mother, yeah.
Oh, really? I'm subconsciously channeling it.
Yeah. I lost the fact, so it's kind of stupid to even bring this up, but that big satellite right there was used for another movie. I want to say maybe Contact.
As you started that sentence, I was going to say Contact.
Yeah,
I don't
that makes
know.
sense.
That'd be my guess.
It's a great guess.
It's a good
big,
movie.
It will do.
It's been like 20 years probably since I've seen that.
What's Jodie Foster been up to these days?
She's a big-time director now, actually.
Speaking of Jodie Foster, for some reason this is out on my desk.
I love Flight Plan. We should do that one sometime.
I don't know why. I have no idea that the coincidence of me having Flight Plan just sitting on my desk.
Great twist in Flight Plan. Looking at all these computer monitors that M has reminds me of how bad I fucked up my mom's computer with Kazaa and LimeWire.
LimeWire? My God.
Do you remember Kazaa too? I know you guys both had that.
Oh,
yeah.
I
The downloads I would make on LimeWire.
I remember my mom would be like, "Can you get off the internet so we can receive phone calls?" I'm like, "Well, I need 11 more minutes to get this Nickelback song." Hero off the
The
Spider-Man
age
2.
of downloading porn and having no idea if it was going to be good or not.
Downloading like a picture of porn.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and you don't know what it's going to be.
Dude, do you remember, did you guys ever have like HBO? Like, we didn't get HBO, but like one of the channels would kind of like leak through in black and white. Real Sex would be on. I'd be like, oh yeah, we're in business now.
There was some fuzzy Showtime.
Real Sex was horrifying, though.
Dude, Showtime, yeah, had all the softcore ones, like
Yeah.
Red Shoe Diaries.
Oh, yeah.
But do you remember Real Sex as a 13-year-old? That was horrifying.
It
You're
was.
so excited to see boobs that you're like, oh no, not like this.
I didn't know this was
We
what I was
should-
getting into.
We should do, while Natalia tries to survive in the wilderness without Liam Neeson, which is always a struggle, we should do an episode where we rank like top 5 shows we watched as kids we weren't supposed to watch. Taxi Cab Confessions, probably
Yep.
up on the list.
Yeah, for me it was Real Sex, Taxi. I remember the first time I watched Sex in the City and I was very upset.
God, I
Really?
know.
Because I didn't know what it was, and I was like, "Oh, it's."
I was like, all right,
sex is involved.
I see the city. I see the city part. Where's the...
Yeah, with,
I have been misled.
With such a title, I was like, oh, this has got to be bad.
I
And then-
remember, yeah.
And then
My
Sarah
mom was
Jessica
calling me
Parker-
for dinner, and I was like, just watching the episode. I was like, I'll come in there when this is done. It's bound to get good eventually.
And
Didn't-
Sarah Jessica Parker would be on the screen. You're like, well, I don't even know if I want to see it right now.
There's only one time she's ever been hot to me, and that's Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
Dude, you know what else, though? And I'm sorry, M, feeding James Bond scotch. We're getting off track, but this is kind of what we do. She done some
Yeah.
Stella Artois commercials recently that she actually looks pretty hot in. Have you guys seen those?
Wait, Judi Dench?
No. Sarah
Oh,
Jessica
I was
Parker.
like, what?
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, she does one with what's his name from Big Lebowski?
Oh yeah, Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
There's nothing wrong with riding a horse, man.
But
Jane
yeah,
Judi Dench looks like Phil Jackson. She's got 11 rings on her finger.
she's put in the time. She deserves
She
it.
is the Phil Jackson of actresses, though. You know,
That's true. But is she that good, or has she just had Kobe and Shaq? You know,
and MJ and Scotty and yeah.
That's the answer.
Kind of
That's the
both.
question needs to be answered.
dude, James Bond he made watches like really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Watches and cars.
Mm-hmm.
There is something I mean, in context of we can make fun of some of the really bad James Bond movies, but it's been 60 years. I think Dr. No was 61, something like that. You know, like that. It's insane to me that this character. It has to be the longest lasting character in terms of cinematic history, right? Like, I mean, it's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything.
Cycling, I have a question. Maybe your dad has told you this, but I'm sure he knows it. So Casino Royale was the original book, right? Like so why didn't they make that
I think
the first
so,
movie?
yeah.
Do you know why that wasn't the first movie then?
So there is an old Casino Royale.
And
but
it's in James Bond canon, quote unquote.
Yeah, but it's not in canon. It's kind of like the Never Say Never Again Sean Connery, where it's technically not in canon. It was almost a comedy. I've never seen it. I remember my dad telling me about the original Casino Royale, and it's almost like a Austin Powers type.
Did they make it before any of these other ones?
Silly. Yeah, I think it's in the 60s. I can't remember if it's before or after Dr. No. But it was definitely like Dr. No is considered the first of the canon, even though it wasn't the first novel.
Got it. You know, now that we're revisiting this, I never even remembered what Goldeneye was. It's that little iPad thing they took, right? That they can access the satellite from?
Yeah.
This guy has a nose that screams Russian villain.
He's this is his only thing on his resume. He's like, I can only do one role. Yeah, Casino Royale, the first one was 1967. And it was, it's considered terrible. Yeah.
I know
my dad hates it.
Who played Bond in it?
Let's see. David Niven.
Oh, so that thing's not even existing to us.
It's a spy comedy. Yeah, it's not really. Yeah, it's its own thing.
Why would you take Ian Fleming's novel and make it like right off the bat like a parody?
And then Dr. No was 1962. So I don't know why the original Sean Connery, why they didn't start with Casino Royale. I actually am not sure. Maybe my dad knows, but it is interesting that they did just start with the second novel, I think.
George Lucas it.
Well, it worked out for Daniel Craig because, I mean,
correct.
I think that might be the best James Bond movie.
He was like, "Will you sign my cast?" This is ridiculous. What the fuck is this?
Here we go. Now we got all the gadgets.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't actually have a cast on.
I love Q. He was from the very first one.
This same actor?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then I think he has 2 movies left at this point.
Good for him, man. He's hanging in there.
They introduced the new Q. I think it's with Pierce Brosnan, but I could be wrong.
It's that. Well, I know Daniel Craig got the really young guy.
Yeah, maybe it was with Daniel Craig. I can't remember now. But they introduced the new Q in one of the films. But this was always my dad's favorite, is all the new gadgets.
Do you think that's an actual phone booth if you need to make a collect call, or is that another gadget that they...
In the basement of MI6, they just have a telephone booth. It's very British of them.
Yes, I know you guys were just talking about Q. I don't know if he said his age. He's 85 right now.
Damn.
He looks 85 there.
Wait,
Holy
he's still alive?
Yeah.
So
What?
he's 60 right here?
Yeah.
There you go, Jeff. Did you see what happened in the background of the telephone booth?
I saw a guy walk in it. I didn't see what happened.
A massive airbag blew up into it.
Mate, he's only 60 right here?
Yeah.
Holy shit,
Dude,
the
he's
British
been
are terrible
fucking
agents.
stressed out then, I was going to say.
My parents are in their 70s and they look 100 times better than this guy.
I can't believe that.
What the fuck are the British eating?
Fish and chips.
Bangers and mash. Yeah.
Clearly the problem.
This guy's like, this phone booth fucking sucks.
Wait, did you see that in the background again, Jeff?
Yeah. This guy's like,
he was stuck.
glass.
Oh yeah, the pen. I love the pen bomb.
You know what we should do? Obviously, we should do the Mission Impossible movies, but I love in the first one the gum that he has. That if you fold it up, it explodes.
Yeah. See, I think, and that's where a big issue of where my dad started getting like a little upset at these. Where like these gadgets are still based in some realistic form, but it's like 2 movies from now they start the invisible car, and they do just most ridiculous of gadgets.
Even the Goldeneye video game, there's no... I think that's one of the things I love about it the most. There's no, like, gadget that's too big of an advantage. Like, obviously the golden gun, but there's nothing that makes you, like, invisible or, like, nobody can hurt you, to my knowledge.
Yeah, you get the bulletproof vest, and that only lasts for so long.
Mm-hmm. If you have the bulletproof vest, does the golden gun still kill you in one shot? Do you guys remember?
It's a good question.
It is a good question. Looks like we have to play to find out.
Dude, I wish we could somehow play that online.
That's what I'm saying. Who do we need to talk to get this happening?
I don't know how that's not already a decision being made by boardrooms right now.
It's almost like companies are afraid they'd make too much money.
Well, like tying it back in with like movies and things. Like, you know how many reboots and remakes they're doing and things like that these days? Do that with video games.
Yeah.
Seriously. Actually, you know what's funny? I think they are doing that with Final Fantasy VII.
Really?
Which is like the most popular PlayStation game. They're coming out with it for PS4. Same exact graphics engine, same game. They just have redone game engine. They've just redone the graphics.
And in terms of cost, profit analysis, that has to be so low. Like the benefit has to be amazing, right? Like it can't cost that much to do these upgrades. In terms of developing a new game.
Why does this guy have Muffy tattooed on him? Is he married to Joe Exotic?
Maybe.
What
a great topical reference.
Right. That will not make any sense in 3 months to anyone.
Unless you're from Oklahoma, which we've known about him for decades.
Natalia's not only still alive, but probably hotter than the last time we saw her somehow. I was going to say, did his subwoofers blow out? And then I remember that in England, the engines are in the back of the car.
The old engine in the back move.
They're not changing that because they realize if you get in a car accident, that actually saves a lot of people's lives, right?
Yeah, that, and there's another thing specific with like old Mustangs, like the pony cars. They used to have like the gas tanks under the trunks, and that was a huge issue.
Jesus.
Yeah, if you got rear-ended.
Which is the most likely accident you're going to get in.
Yeah, exactly. Early cars, we had to work through some things.
You got to break a few omelets to make an egg, you know? Or the opposite of that. Break some eggs to make enough. I'll just go fuck off.
We'll get it next time.
Do these hats keep you warm? Like, they're not covering your ears right now. I mean, I guess you could fold them down, but, fashion faux pas.
I feel like they should flap down at some point.
And pretty topical is like the people wearing the coat, the mask because of the coronavirus right now, but yet it's not covering their nose. Have you seen those pictures?
Jesus Christ.
Like that's counterproductive, dude. Doesn't do anything for you if you're not covering your nose.
Natalia saw
just for mouth breathers.
Natalia saw an ad on Craigslist. This guy will take a few photographs of you, try to get you a modeling gig. Only problem is he needs a few nudes, he said. She's a little suspicious.
She's like, I'm thinking about it. I've always felt like the villain Bond girls are always, more attractive than the actual Bond girls.
I mean, I don't know enough about them, but I would say Xenia right now, probably the horniest Bond villain. And
that's literally all she is.
Okay, so to this point, for us, it was a little ambiguous if he even survived, right?
Yeah. Natalia thought she was dead. Natalia thought he was dead until now. Yep. Well, that just said it.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, found it.
How did she know to get in touch with him? Oh, she just has his email address, I guess?
She just wanted to email him just in case, yeah.
Took Goldeneye, LOL. What?
Didn't know
ROFL.
Didn't know that was a thing back then.
It's like an internet cafe she's in. He's like, no porn.
ASL.
18, yes. Latvia, currently. What?
I think it was always 18.
Oh, for sure.
You first.
Whatever country. Car back running. That's good.
Always a good sign when there's just random fires burning in trash cans near you. Typically a good place to say, yeah, just drop me off here. I'll figure it out.
This is Uber. It's like, no, just
give me 5 stars, please. I would give you 5 stars. Remember we had to use a sledgehammer to fix your fucking engine? That was kind of...
Could you stop talking to me? I'll give you 5 stars.
The Uber driver that insists you sit in the front seat? No, I'm good, bro.
No,
come on. I'll give you the aux cord. Only
no,
if
stretch us to the back. We're fine.
You'll only give it to me if I sit next to you? This is an artistic shot, Cycly. The flames right in front
Beautiful.
of the reminds me of something Velocipaster would have done.
You can't just mimic greatness, man. It's hard for no one can do what Velocipaster did.
Yeah, everyone sees Jordan's mid-range jump shot, but how do you do the same thing? Her little mole on the left side of her cheek definitely looks drawn on by production.
It actually moves in every scene. They forgot where they put it.
Yeah, Sidney Crawford was big at this point, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, how come she was never a Bond girl?
That would have been a good move. Did she not have the acting chops, I guess?
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Usually the goal was to get like an up-and-comer kind of, right? Because I remember when Halle Berry did it for Die Another Day, it was kind of like a rarity to have someone who was more established as an actress.
Yeah. Didn't see that coming.
Is this fucking Mike Golick? He owns this bar right here?
Yes. Grass-fed Mike Golick.
I was like, all right, Nate, I'll get the cart pushed. You got to drive across the finish line, though.
I'll knock that out of the park. Don't worry about it.
Oh, this is Minnie Driver. I read about this. She has a cameo in the movie.
Huh.
Is it really?
Good Will Hunting, and she voices Jane in the Disney animated Tarzan movie. Tables have turned That guy in the back is really fucking tall. We could start a basketball team here because we already got our center.
Yeah, he's 6'8" minimum.
Well, is Odd Job your point guard?
It's got to be, right?
We should do a 5-on-5 James Bond character fantasy basketball.
I don't even know if I could name 5 though. So.
Just based on the Goldeneye game.
You probably put Jaws down low.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to foul out, but no easy layups. You know what I'm saying?
He's good for a quarter and a half.
Yeah, do we get 5 or 6 fouls? That's the first he asks. Like, why are you asking that before we even start playing? I just want to know how many we get.
You know Q is going to come up with crazy gadgets for the basketball game, right?
He's going to be drawing up insane plays, and James will just be like, just get me the fucking ball, have Jaws set a ball screen. It's fine. We'll figure it out.
Is he going to put a magnet in the basketball?
It goes to the rim.
It goes straight to the rim.
See, so this guy, the club owner, we don't want him on the team. He's already talking about a bum knee that he has.
I think he is a crossover character from one of the other movies. Yeah, he's like ex-KGB. I think he was. They already had a previous relationship where they were enemies at one point.
Where they were weekend lovers.
You know what? James Bond loves everyone, man. He's definitely just all about the pleasure.
You know, when you're in those long, late Siberian nights, I mean, you get what you can get.
And that's why you got to stay warm. Like he's definitely going to keep you warm. Look at that body.
Yeah, he's got a lot of blubber on him to keep you warm. So is this whole movie shot or supposedly shot in the USSR or Russia?
Yeah, I think he's in Russia right now. Yeah, I think for the most
Still.
part it is. Yeah, I think that's why they're. I think what the overall concept of this movie is like basically ex-USSR people who are rebelling from the the new order, the new capitalistic government.
Yeah.
Which is like, understand it was a good transition for them to, kind of bring after a 6-year or 7-year hiatus and say, what can we do with James Bond? Yeah.
Yeah, super random, but it kind of ties into that. It's been a longer time period, but notice recently there have been a lot of kind of Nazi-themed movies or TV shows coming out with like Jojo Rabbit, Hunters on Amazon Prime, Man in the High Tower.
Yeah.
I think it's just been long enough time to where people feel comfortable writing shows and movies about Nazi Germany.
And it just makes it for an easier bad guy to sell,
Yeah.
In a world where we're so abstract and everyone takes sides now, it's like, well, you make Nazis dress in that black classic uniform. They look like a bad character, and everyone can get on board.
Yeah, everyone's like, okay, we can all hate this hate this type of person.
Whereas like nowadays, everyone will get butthurt. Like, why is that person the bad guy?
Yeah. Yeah, as long as they're Nazis, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah. Well, ideally, yes.
Yes.
This
looks like a nice place to chill out.
I just feel like for a MI6 spy, James Bond has no problem just being like, he could get killed by an actual person anytime, but he's never against someone who can, do a job.
No, if someone
it's
gets
very much a stormtrooper.
Yeah, if someone gets the best hand on him, I feel like he'll just be like, all right, kudos, you did it. I deserve to die now.
Except all he does is go up against stormtroopers.
That's true.
Oh, here we go. She's already into this.
Make a decision. You're getting weirdly turned on.
I mean, a little bit. She is all about it, man. So there is a formula in James Bond. He minimum has sex with 3 girls every movie. The first girl is always a random at the beginning of the movie with no context. He always hooks up with the bad girl in the middle of the movie, and then he always hooks up with the good Bond girl at the end.
Was there a random at the beginning of this one?
I think it was Moneypenny in the beginning of this one. Remember he was in the car? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always that formula is that it's minimum 3 girls.
This is still foreplay right here.
Technically.
For her, it's nothing.
This is the female version of a donkey punch. Or Kegels.
That's a great analogy.
Is he inside her right now?
No.
He's got his shorts on still.
I don't think for her she needs anything inside of her. She just needs pain.
Now they had to actually be fucking like offset in real life, right?
I would hope so, just to get that actor to actor bond.
If I'm a professional, I'm like, look, we need to be having sex in my trailer after this.
It's a Daniel Day-Lewis. It's like I take my job really seriously.
And then she starts to question, like, oh my god, am I not taking this seriously enough?
I'm a method actor, so when I die in the movie, I die in real life.
So if I die, that's my last role. That's all I get.
I remember this level was hard in the game
I don't
because it
remember
was
this at
so
all.
dark. The graveyard level, yeah,
Nate,
it was.
Nate, do you remember a graveyard level? I don't remember this at all.
For the campaign, I'm struggling to piece together the levels that Cycly's talking about. Played a lot of multiplayer.
The best way to remember it is there was a bunch of statues.
Yeah.
But the campaign, don't they have every level you play is also a map in multiplayer?
Is it?
Not all of them.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Or at least like some variation of it?
I know for the campaign, I think there's 24 levels on the campaign.
Something
like that.
Isn't there one level in multiplayer that you can play? There's like an expanded version. It's like Stacks connects to like Compound or something.
Yeah. The multiplayer has levels that are not in the campaign.
Oh, really?
Too. Yeah. They have levels from other James Bond games, I think.
One thing I do remember, and some people might not even find this cool. They might be like, I don't give a fuck. But in multiplayer, there's a way, like, the amount of characters you can play with, you can even be like random guard number 6. Right?
Yeah,
like,
I always love those.
They let you play with like anybody you want.
Which is like, this is Brad.
Hi. Are you in the movie? No, I just was here.
Yeah, because I remember the end of this level you meet with Sean Bean's character.
Oh yeah, that hasn't been revealed yet.
Yeah.
That
he's alive. Yeah.
Trevelyan.
Yeah.
I read just as I was doing my research, and this is such a fucking bummer when this happens, but him being the villain was revealed on accident in one of the trailers.
Oh, I'd be so mad, especially in an era where before the internet was the way it was.
Isn't that kind of like cool that like back in the day we could go see this film and before have no fucking idea that Trevelyan out 006 is the villain?
That's why I love. I know I've mentioned this to you before, but that's why I love the Simpsons episode where they do a flashback of Homer and Marge going to see Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah.
And he's just walking in the line for the next movie. He's like, "Can you believe that Darth Vader was his father all along?"
Well, that's like what happened to us when we went to go see Solo. Remember?
Oh my God.
In
yeah.
the bathroom, and I come sit down. I'm like, I just heard something. I don't want to tell you, but if it's true, I'm gonna be pissed off.
The Darth Maul thing, right?
Yeah, that fucking kid. And we saw it like that Thursday night it came out.
Yeah, he literally saw the one showing
before us, the only one possible. So Sean Bean, obviously I'm the only person in the universe that hasn't seen Game of Thrones, but he's an incredible actor, but you can't cast him as the villain anymore because he's always the villain. Like even if his character turns, it's like so obvious.
Well, the more thing, he always dies. In like
true.
99.9% of his characters die.
That is very true.
Well, like so, I'm like because obviously he's in the first Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, but like there's a list of he's in the first one. Well, he's actually in the other two as well. He's in the director's cuts as flashbacks. He didn't make the theatricals. But yeah, he's a notorious dead actor.
How long is he in Game of Thrones for? Just one season?
First season. But I mean, his character impacts the entire series. But yeah, he dies at the end of the first. And if I'm giving you spoilers, then that's really on you at this point.
For sure.
I'm sitting right here. Dude, if this I should watch Game of Thrones during the quarantine.
Honestly, this is your time. Yeah. This is your moment to watch it.
Was there like 77 episodes or something?
Well, you can just skip the last 2 seasons.
No, it's sad but true. No.
Yeah.
The last 2? I thought just the last
No, it's fine.
Just the last one. Yeah.
I think that's like, yeah. I know.
Oh, shit. Blow dart. Who's that?
So this level, the reason I was saying it's hard is because the level is so dark. It's hard to see where the fuck anything is.
So, Trevelyan, and the point of these movie commentaries is we talk over the movie, so we tend to miss a few things, but I think it's worth it. Did he betray England? Was that always the plan, or did they basically leave him for dead, and that has since caused his rebellion against MI6?
I think he was already rebelling.
Okay. So he set James up when they went on that mission.
Well, yeah, and it wasn't just that. It was because MI6 doesn't care about them as people. They're just pawns.
He should have let James in on that, man.
Yeah, and that's what he was trying to convince. He was trying to get James to agree with him. He's just like, our people are being sent, we're getting killed, and they don't care about us, and they'll just replace us. But James Bond is a corporate guy, man. Like, he's going to do what it takes.
Dude, what was the missile launching budget for this movie?
Probably 50%.
The rest of the money went to Judi Dench.
Let's be those guys. Do you think these missiles were CGI? No, they got real ones. Oh, that's fucking cool.
Well done.
So what's the plan now? Does this thing just fall down to Earth? Oh, okay, there we go. Problem solved.
We figured it out.
Those are 2 grocery bags.
I would like to know if this is an actual functional thing on any helicopter in real life.
There's 0 chance. You know how you'd have to go for that parachute to like.
I just love.
Like the whole.
That's why I love the Austin Powers movies. Is like the ridiculousness of like them leaving him an eject button that he can hit with his head.
The whole cockpit like stays intact and parachutes come out from that.
It's a fancy helicopter, guys.
I guess so. Those Russians aren't skimping on their helicopters.
There's one thing they spend money on. It's helicopter ejection modules. We all know that. I like James's tie right here. Man, they really were not planning on that initial idea to kill him working because they had 6 cards ready to pull up.
They were ready. They're like, this is not going to work.
Well, it fucks up, so might as well just drive up.
I've seen enough James Bond movies to know that we're not going to be able to kill you, so we're going to just try and then arrest you.
Yeah, his tie is still well manicured at this point.
It's like Scott in Austin Powers when he's like, I have a gun in my room.
Right now. Scott,
it's like, no.
But I love how Dr. Evil goes, you just don't get it, do you?
Yeah.
You just don't.
But it's so perfect. Every James Bond movie, they have to, the bad guy reveals his plan. It's just, I just love it. It's so ridiculous.
James is like, it's been about 11 minutes since I've had sex with someone, so you can understand getting a little antsy.
And she's like, look, we're in quarantine. Can you stand 6 feet away? You do not need to be this close to me.
Yeah, Nate, he's like, I have blue balls. She's like, you need help.
You are sick.
I overproduced.
Who stands this close to someone when they talk?
It's called sexual tension. Heard of it?
I live it every day.
Nicely.
Simonova.
I also love that, like, they always imprison these people together.
You wouldn't do that.
Why would you ever put 2 people?
But, I mean, look how big this prison cell is. You're gonna give this to one person? It's like a fucking Airbnb.
Yeah.
They have a buffet in the middle.
They do have a picnic table in there. It's oddly furnished. I'll say that.
Yeah, that size, that's going to cost you $3,000 a month on the Upper East Side of New York.
100%. That's before we even get into utilities.
Oh yeah.
Guys, did her mole disappear?
Right? What?
Hold on. Yeah, I'm looking now. I don't know. It's too dark right now. No, it's there.
Okay. I just like the idea that her mole just changes places every scene.
I'll be keeping an eye out for it now.
I felt like it was lower earlier.
Okay, here we go.
Mole, 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 mole.
Mole, mole, mole.
No one would make that connection. This is James Bond making sweet conversational love to this Russian guy. What, no chit-chat? See, this is where I think Brosnan's pretty good. The thing with James Bond, he has to regard. There could literally be like a chainsaw an inch from his dick, and he would be like, "Cut it off."
He does in Casino Royale.
Yeah, he gets his balls taken out to the wood chipper,
and
basically.
He starts like cracking up, and he's like, "I got a tickle or I got a scratch."
Yeah, that's
that
a pretty
movie's so
intense
good.
scene. Where's the Goldeneye? What are we
This
working
guy's-
with there, Cycly?
We got Vape Tricks, Prairie.
Oh, wow. I love that can.
Fancy.
It's so good if you have never had it.
All right, I'll look into it.
This Russian guy's facial hair, he's like, I really could not decide between beard or goatee. So I said, why not do both?
Yeah, I was about to say something about that. It's weirdly shaped. It's like a triangle.
It's
Yeah.
odd. It's very weird, yeah.
He's like, it was a dare, okay? I lost the bets.
I lost my fantasy football league. I'm sorry.
That's what happens when you draft a kicker in the 9th round. He's like, yeah, go ahead, kill me. I don't check the waiver wire enough anyway.
And anytime I watch any of these movies, I'm like, man, all the Soviets had was everyone was rebelling against everyone.
At a certain point, you're like, dude, we might even have the exact same ideals, but just on principle, I have to rebel against you and shoot you.
I don't know who's on whose side ever.
I don't even know what I believe, to be honest.
So he just killed everybody, saved James Bond. Now James Bond is about to kill him.
He don't trust no bitch.
Yeah. Especially Dmitry Mishkin. Is that a guy you'd fucking jump in a foxhole with? I don't think so. This is definitely a level, right?
100%. This was a really hard level. I remember really struggling with
This is the one where there's like a couple secret doors, right?
Yeah.
Like if you press B, certain walls will like open up.
And I think this is one of the multiplayer ones too.
I think this is the one where you have to file your taxes before the deadline also.
The hardest level.
What if there was like a really fucking boring level?
How do I
you
pick up this pin?
You missed
My
some
mom would
deductions.
be so excited about it.
You missed some. This is the stacks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this level.
This is, and in the game, the next level I think is the tank riding level.
Is there a level in campaign? I'm trying to think if I'm getting this confused with another game where you have to like go up in the top of like what's the silo level? I remember that being one, right?
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah. I can't
There's
remember
one
which
where,
one it was.
There's one where it's like really confined spaces. Like you can't really move left or right that much. I remember it's like kind of claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm. I remember the train level is like that. It's just straight.
But that's just campaign, right?
Yeah. Are you talking about multiplayer?
Yeah, I thought there was a multiplayer one where it's like if you know the map really well, you can like automatically kill people that don't. Because like you can get in like behind them where they can't.
There were a few multiplayer levels. I remember that there was only certain respawn points, and people would put proximity mines at the respawn
That's
points.
fucked up.
And you would just
so when you
respawn and then immediately die.
When you respawn, you don't have like like in Smash Brothers, you come back, you're like immune for like 5 seconds or whatever.
You might be if you put the proximity mines like just far enough, like you have to walk. Right, like you have to like walk a certain place to get out of there.
See this gadget, like we're having a good time. Why do you have to do this? That's a great effect. Parkour.
I
get it. I have bad teeth. No, the floss is to fling yourself from one side to the other.
Nate, what's the line Jim says? Parkour is a way to get from point A to point B as creatively as possible. If point A is a delusion, what does he say point B is?
I was just trying to think of that. I can't remember what point B is though. But
it's like an incredible fucking. Michael walks in, jumps on the couch, and like fucking picture flame off.
And Andy jumps right into the dumpster.
Half gainer on top of the garbage pan. Oh, this is
fucking love it.
Don't mind if I do, doll. Dmitry Mishkin is like, I still don't know why I have a gun to you because I just saved you, but he punched me in the face.
Right, he just saved both of them. By the way, where's Banner? Because we have to talk about the James Bond, just, the score. It's so iconic.
So good. One thing, like getting to do a movie podcast with Banner for about 4 years has really made me listen to movie music more. Like the score in Parasite is incredible.
Yeah, it was good.
See, I don't remember. Maybe just because I haven't played campaign in way longer than even the multiplayer. But I don't remember getting to drive a tank at all in campaign.
Oh, you do. It's fantastic.
Do you get to do this
I just
level
remember
down the street?
Yeah, and you blow like you have torpedoes and like you can just shoot any wall you want.
I would imagine that turret is really hard to control. Is it?
And yeah, and you can use the C buttons a lot to change it. But you can run over people too. Yeah. Like so if you have like some of the Russians shooting at you, you can just run straight over them. And you hear them get crushed in the game. They go,
whoa.
Ah!
Dark. I mean, these guys should really know the streets, right? Aren't they from Russia? Is that where we are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're still there.
It's like another Office reference, but where the GPS tells them to drive into the water.
It's saying turn right.
Turn
all
right.
You're not going to trust a computer, Michael.
Oh, here we go.
Look out.
They know shit's about to hit the fan. Oh, he peeled out.
My subtitles just said speaks Russian.
See, isn't that beautiful that subtitle writer got to be lazy and be like, you know what? I'm not going to translate. I'm just going to write speaks Russian.
Has he fired this turret once yet? I mean, I guess he hasn't really needed to. He's just wrecking everything.
Yeah, not yet. He's just running into shit.
And these guys are just wasting bullets. What do they think it's going to happen?
I'm losing wood over here, James. Fire the fucking turret, bro.
It does seem like these cars are from the 70s.
I
don't feel like cars look like this in the 90s, but maybe
Russia is like 2.5 decades behind everyone else.
Basically the Canada effect.
Canada just gets pop culture later.
Little Michael Bay over explosion there.
Oh, yeah. Michael Bay would be watching this at home like, fuck, should have done a crane shot.
He was actually an intern on this movie, is where he got his start. And I love that the guy's drinking.
He has vodka.
He's taking like
in that,
8
right?
swigs from that flask.
Who's counting? Take off the white wig, Nate. Jesus.
And if you're in one of these police cars, like you're like have your sirens on the tank.
There's no way.
Really, you think you're gonna stop this tank?
One of those guys rolled out of that thing alive. That's not possible.
Yeah, unless he was like just birthed from another person in there. There's no way. This is the slowest taking of a roundabout I've ever seen.
Look at the number of Perrier on that.
Oh,
truck.
I did.
Jesus.
Fuck, I had a stat about how many bottles of Perrier were destroyed in this, but I lost it.
How much did Perrier get paid for? How much did Perrier pay for getting that shot?
You know, your dad actually loves Perrier too. Every time I go to your house, there's Perrier in the fridge.
This is where the love affair started.
That's a fun fact right there.
Your dad would watch this scene and be like, I can't look.
My dad's like, I don't know why, but I'm craving Perrier right now. This guy is chugging his booze, man.
Is it vodka? It's got to be vodka, right?
Has to be. James Bond is nothing but respecting stereotypes.
And dead.
Oh! Stop trying to drive.
You literally are driving a car that probably weighs 1,000 pounds.
This is fine.
What do they think's gonna happen?
Well, they rear-ended him, so I hope they have insurance.
So Pierce Brosnan's like, I'm gonna come back for your information. Can you just leave a note?
This guy's
and
like,
here we come.
Let's stop at a liquor store real quick. My flask is empty.
We're coming to one of my favorite levels on the game, the train.
I don't remember this train level at all.
Oh my god, it ends with his watch shooting lasers to unlock the bottom.
Is it just like Snowpiercer? You go from like the back of the train to the front?
Yeah, and you go and you rescue Natalia. At the very back of the train is Boris and Natalia.
Do you get to flirt with Xenia at any point?
In the game, I think in the beginning you do. Or she's like just talking to you normally. But her thighs in the game, bro. Oh my god.
It's a very fancy train.
Fancy pants, huh? Who's wallpapering train cars these days?
It's a fucking decoupaged.
Yeah, she is. How do you say her name? I don't even know. But
Xenia?
Xenia is how I've been saying it, but
want to say Xena, warrior princess, but my God, yeah, she is.
Oh, he's got a backup flask. Nice.
She is so much hotter than Natalia.
I don't know. Maybe they should make out. We can figure it out.
I just keep seeing Charlize Theron in it.
Right. It's like, I can't think of another one.
It's good.
You know. He's like, it's fine. Leave it be. He's like, we could have sex. What does that even mean? Like, physically? Yeah. Your face looks like someone took a frying pan to it. Are you into frying pans? No.
This train has like a battering ram on the front of it.
Just in case.
I'm going to her images. I want to see if her mole's real. It's not.
What?
Her mole is not real.
Oh my God.
I don't think it is. I'm looking at some of her Facebook or her Google images. I don't see it. Wait, maybe okay. There's one that has it, but it's not as prominent. Oh wow,
She is not into you, bro.
Bro, God, that's terrible. She swipes left. Is that the right way to swipe? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
He's not going to be in this tank, right?
He just pulled it up there. Yeah, I think so.
I
just got out.
I just don't see a mole.
I'm telling you, bro, they added it for sexiness.
Cindy Crawford, you're right.
What about her?
I'm just saying the Cindy Crawford effect, right? Like,
yeah.
Wow.
I don't see a mole.
There is no mole.
No mole, man.
What?
It did look like someone took a Sharpie and just... Did he... This is like a Ghost Rider homage right here. Damn. That Intel Pentium...
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah. All right, we're fine. Everybody's fine.
I just can't stop looking at her mole now every time she's on screen. I'm still confused about this guy. Like, why did he save them originally?
I think he's confused too. Dimitri is a man without a purpose, really. Damn, he got on the train quick.
I think she had the mole removed. Sorry, I'm still on this.
No, that could definitely be a possibility. Maybe when moles weren't in vogue anymore, she was like, I gotta take a little laser to this thing.
Maybe it was cancerous, and they were like, get it removed. God, I'm just look at her. Like, yeah, just shoot them, James. Jeez.
Well, shoot him. We need to talk to Z.
I think he needs to get
more information out of her. The information might be under her coat too. We don't know where it is.
Oh yeah, it's definitely, you got to look all over the place. She's gonna hide it deep places.
So is Trevlin like running the fucking show here, or is he just like part of the gang?
I think he's running the show.
Damn. Sean Bean, and again, this is why I said it's a little predictable that he's a villain, but it's probably because he's a really good villain in everything that I've seen him in.
Except
Ed Harris is always a villain too, right? Like,
yeah, usually.
Some guys just make really good villains.
Nate, were you saying he's not the villain in Game of Thrones, or he's not a good villain in Game of Thrones?
He's not a villain.
Oh. I mean, it's all perspective.
That's kind of interesting.
Really?
I'd like to see him as not a... Even if he's like an anti-hero, that'd be a new...
I mean, if you're Cersei, he's a villain.
Okay, so you're on Cersei's side.
Absolutely not. I'm just saying it's all perspective.
Oh, devil's advocate, huh?
Okay, here we go.
He's a villain to somebody.
Switzerland.
One man's terrorist, another man's freedom fighter, all right?
Oh, he ran away.
Dimitri's like, I'm kind of glad you shot me because I was going to have to pick sides soon, and it's really not good for me.
He's like, dude, I literally rescued you. What the fuck? What do I have to do to gain your trust?
But in Dimitri didn't really try to explain it because he had her at gunpoint 2 seconds later. He's like, I don't even fucking know, man. Honestly, someone...
He's like, I'm just going through the motions. I have no idea what I'm doing.
So if this were realistic right now, she would have to do the dial-up real quick.
Do they have America Online in Russia in 1995?
Yeah, that's true.
She's got one CD left with 300 free hours.
Yeah, one of those ones that was up front of Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this part actually 100% happens in the game. Like, they're in this back room, they're locked in, the train's about to explode.
And that's where his laser opens it up?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is setting up, I'm looking at the time here. This has been flying by. About 35 minutes left. So this will set up the last fight at the Cradle, where I remember Boris actually plays a pretty big role at that scene.
Yeah, and that pen. It's in Cuba, I believe, right?
Cuba.
Wow, would not even had to guess.
I think that's where that the final place. Yeah, he gets to do this. You get to do this in the game.
Oh, fuck yeah. Do you have to, like, move it?
Yeah, you move it, but in the game, it's not like that. In the game, there's locks. And you have to, like, laser each lock.
I sit on, but I don't take it with me.
Nate, did you find out any more about her mole?
Yeah, so I've got one pulled up on my phone here because this is an old picture. I'm going to see if I can get close, but...
All right.
I don't see it. I don't see the mole. Oh, there it is. There it is. There.
But it's not as... It's even in that picture, it's not even close to what she's got in her face right now.
No, I think she had it removed, but yeah, they doctored it up a little bit.
Why not? If you got it, flaunt it. So best guess is Cuba, but that line was still moving, you know?
What was the over-under?
Oh. No, it was like the line on the map.
Damn it.
7.5.
I just heard line and haven't had any sports in my life.
I know. God, it's tough right now.
God, there was a rumor that, like, college football is going to be canceled. I'm like, please.
Dude, shut the fuck up. There is no way.
Oh, my God. Kirk Herbstreit said it. I was like, no.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He said he doesn't think it's going to happen because they're not practicing. They're not working out. Could cause a lot of injuries.
Yeah, the NCAA cares about anything. It's the players. Good point.
Yeah. But I'm like, all right, take my life, but don't take college football.
Take my eyes, but don't take this shirt.
Not this
Sarah shirt. Oh, no.
I admire Sir Tommy Bahama. He's a brilliant man. They should just fuck right here in the weeds, right?
Come on.
He's just like, they've only known each other for an hour.
Yeah, but that has been a horny hour.
I wonder, so this would be another fun stat. What is the least amount of time he has known someone in a film and fucked them?
Wow.
It's got to be
sure that's online.
That's
that has
great.
to be there.
Someone out there's got to have done this work for us, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Has he ever fucked someone without even getting their name?
Yeah, I think so.
That's another good one.
So she thinks they're dating. He's like, okay, let's relax.
That's why I love Casino Royale, because if you take Casino Royale as technically the first one, he actually falls in love in Casino Royale, and then she obviously betrays him.
Well, Eva Green's hot enough to where I would, give up the plate.
And she is, yeah, she's beautiful. But I think that it shows like he just will never trust that again, kind of thing. So it gave a little context of why he just,
Yeah, that scene spoilers for Casino Royale. Skip ahead 30 seconds if you haven't seen it. That scene at the end where she like drowns in that elevator is pretty fucking powerful.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright. I forgot he was in that. He's in the new one too.
I always love the American. This is the CIA American guy. Like.
Roll damn Tide anyway. No Auburn shit in the bag, obviously, because they fucking suck. What?
British MI6 agent, suave in a suit, American CIA, straw hat, Hawaiian shirt.
AKA Brian Banner.
Yes. Definitely Brian Banner. He would get out with a koozie that has like a Dos Equis in it.
He's drink.
Or he has like a yardstick margarita. How did that stay frozen? It didn't. Had to drink it up. Is He's like, I'm gonna need to feel her up. What?
I gotta check her out, make sure she's not loaded.
Look like you could put some good gadgets in those tits.
They do bring back the Americans, like in the Casino Royale again in the Daniel Craig, like he starts working with Americans again. But
It does make the Americans look, probably rightfully so, very incompetent.
yeah. If these are our CIA agents, I'm really worried about what we're doing around the world.
So they do an old, like a trade here. He gives him the car, the Beamer, and he gets the plane.
It's how we do business.
It's not a bad trade-off.
So the American shows up, just gives him something, and is like, I'm out, see you later. And he can barely drive it.
Yeah, like, you could have just backed it up. Why do we have to peel out like that?
Reverse is for noobs.
I hope Natalia's like, who was that? And he's like, I have no idea.
I don't know. Met him online. Seemed nice, though. Only asked me for dick pics twice.
This is an artistic shot of the movie.
He's skipping rocks into the beach. He's like, listen, Natalia, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. It's not fair to you if we keep this going. Now, we should have sex one more time, but...
And where did she get these clothes?
Were they just in the beach house?
Most Airbnbs come with a few sets of lingerie.
Getting a camel toe shot there.
Drink
shot of the movie.
Drink for the camel toe. She's like, James, what are we? He's like, oh, God. Moving too fast? Can I say that?
So my mom died last week, so I can't commit, you know? I'm in a weird place.
Let's do this. Let's go on this mission, babe, and obviously have sex before. And then after the mission, let's talk. Let's pop open the hood and poke around and see where we're at.
What I love about watching this movie, though, it is the epitome of a 90s action film.
Absolutely.
Like this hard ass, he's sitting on the beach, he's lost in who he is, and this girl he met an hour ago is like, oh, he's your friend, but you need to do what you got to do. He's like, you're right, I do.
I think he's trying to not break up with Natalia because he's like, you know, in that train car, her and Xenia, there we go, had some sexual chemistry. I might be able to pull off a threesome.
What if he's like, you are not violent enough for me. I need like your thighs choking me to death.
That's a very violent kiss.
I'm worried that he's like at a dominatrix point where it's like he can't get off unless there's a certain level of violence.
Yeah, Xenia has ruined him.
Like right here, are they about to burn each other with hot coals?
I need this.
Just
Brand
wax on my chest.
Yeah, brand me. What? The wax first, then brand me. He never takes the watch off, does he? Maybe he's trying to get his steps in. That's what it counts.
Yeah.
When they have sex, it like registers the steps. Oh, you want to kiss again? Okay.
Those sheets say perfectly on her for some reason. How does that happen?
He's like, you know, I don't like to be touched afterwards, babe.
Got to give me 30 minutes of a break.
I'm just so sensitive. I do like how when he plans the itinerary, it's like mission tomorrow, so we have one night to fuck each other's brains out, obviously. There's a lot of
there's
a lot of passionate kissing in the script.
I just hope he's using protection, you know?
Yeah, he's got a 9 on him.
I was gonna say, you're setting us up for the Austin Powers line. No, I meant a condom. Well, condoms are for sailors.
Bloody should be in every port.
Not anymore, Austin. CGI here looks pretty good, man.
It's not bad.
Can you watch where you're going, James? Jeez.
A little distracted by the view, love. Oh my God, that's me. You mean me?
They've known each other for, 24 hours now?
I'm with Nate, though. Like,
they're definitely 3 times.
They're definitely churching up that mole. Like, right there, that thing is very prominent.
Yeah,
it's getting bigger, actually. It's concerning. That's why she got it removed. It kept growing.
I was going to say, do we have a dermatologist on staff that can just take a look at this thing? It's pulsing.
So we're about to be in the jungle level of Goldeneye, the game.
Dude, I don't remember a jungle level at all.
This is like the lead up. It's like the second or third to last before the cradle.
Oh shit!
It's so hard. Yeah, they get shot down. And it's the final level where you get to fight Xenia, or however you say her name.
Fight or fuck?
Both. I mean, depends on which one you're trying to go for. You have to press B for one or A for the other. But I just remember that was the hardest level for me.
When you do the campaign, are there like cutscenes in between the levels to explain like how you get from one to the next, or not really?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think the N64 wasn't able to do that kind of stuff yet. You were just there. Remember the beginning of the film when he's in the plane, he jumps off, like in the end of that level, you just take off, and that's how it ends.
But I remember one level ending with him doing the bungee thing, right?
Yeah, that happens too. But
okay, so you fight your way through like the top of the dam, then he bungees into the compound. Is that what happens?
Yeah, he bungees, and then it just ends with him bungeeing, and the next level he's just in the next place.
I do remember starting in the bathroom though. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, you do start in the bathroom, and you come through the attic, and
you have to take a shit first.
Well, you just ate a lot of, beets right before. It's like I do.
This is
drink some coffee.
Who's this?
Oh, you know who it is.
God?
Is that you?
God with a harpoon gun, as we all envision him.
James, it is I. Sexy McGee.
Look at my face.
Legs are already spread as she jumps out of the plane.
He's like, babe, you don't need to fight me. I'm like ready. She's like, I need this though.
Even in her battle attire, she has fishnets.
Oh man.
This might be one of the horniest characters we've ever seen on a movie commentary for the.
I guarantee you she doesn't get off on sex. Like, she can't.
There's no way.
It's not enough for her.
No man's dick could satisfy her. Kiss her. You won't.
Do it. Do it. Boo.
The muscle she has down there, she needs like a steel rod.
I bet she's going to enjoy this.
How would she prevent the helicopter from moving at all?
Oh, no. Man, I really liked her.
Man, the world just lost a really horny person.
I hope she's smiling at least.
She's up in sex heaven looking down on us.
Did you see his line?
She always did enjoy a good squeeze.
Yeah, that's like where James Bond diverts. There's a fork in the road. It's like, do you want to be what you were, or do you want to say shit like this? I'll go with the sex Bond.
What kind of... I know, like, a few seconds ago, there was, like, an old lady walking in that office. I'm just curious, like, how she got that job. She's probably just a secretary there. Like, what kind of benefits do they offer?
Well, they said there's a lot of upward mobility here because the death rate of your superiors is pretty high.
Good 401k.
Wait, so the cradle emerges from the ground?
Yeah.
How do I not remember any of this shit?
Because it's been 20 years.
No, that's not it.
It can't be that.
And honestly, to Nate's point, even when this movie was out, I don't think I saw the movie more than like once. I just played the fuck out of the video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the video, like, that's what's so interesting about this is, like, for our generation, is the video game is probably more famous than the movie.
And I don't think the video game helped sequels. Like when, what's the next one?
The World Is Not Enough. Tomorrow Never Dies.
When that came out, I wasn't like, Mom, we have to go see this. I was like, I don't fucking care.
So there was a Tomorrow Never Dies game.
Oh, really?
It just was not.
For the 64?
Yeah.
What?
I think it was for the 64 or the next system. but it just didn't do
I know.
shit.
I played a James Bond game on the GameCube.
Here, I'm looking it up now. I remember it being a thing, and it was terrible.
The one on the GameCube is different. You like drive cars, and it's like not first person, I don't think.
Yep, it was a PlayStation game.
Well, there's your first problem. They switched consoles.
Yep, they switched consoles.
PS1,
it was an EA game.
PS1 just straight up was not that good. PS2 was awesome, but PS1 was trash.
Yeah,
it was only on James Bond. Oh, sorry, it was only on PlayStation. Yeah, okay, because I remember
PlayStation 1?
Yep.
Gross.
I just wonder why
Is Misha his satellite, or is it his like Bolivian girlfriend that he's trying to get nudes from?
I think it's the name of his pen.
Oh yeah, what is the deal with his pen? If they take it away, he goes like fucking insane, right?
Yeah, he's just like obsessed with clicking it.
It's like Two-Face and his coin.
But this level, the very last level, was
the cradle.
Yeah. What I love is like it was easy. Like if you played the basic agent one, it wasn't that hard actually. But if you did secret agent or 00 agent, it was like impossible.
I remember the problem here is like you're just so exposed when people are shooting at you.
Yeah.
Because you're like on the middle of a bridge. You're so easy to hit.
Do you remember the crouch move?
Was that C
like
down?
R and C down. Yeah.
What did R do just by itself? Did it do anything?
I think R was aim.
Really?
It would bring up the
It did have a really good auto aim though, right? Like normally it would just.
Yeah, and I think you could turn it off if you really wanted to be ridiculous.
You know what's weird? Oddjob's in the game. He's not in the movie.
They have Oddjob. They have a bunch of the just like original James Bond characters. Like that's what I was saying. They have levels in multiplayer that isn't even from this movie. There's even like an Egyptian and an Aztec multiplayer level.
I do remember the temple. Yeah, the temple's fucking hard.
Yeah. There are some levels that they just kind of created, which is fun too. Like I like that they didn't
the temple I remember is like the water temple because if you go down to a certain level, you like can't get up.
Yeah, I love that level.
One of the most frustrating levels of any game ever.
Still bothers me. Guard yells in Russian, is what my subtitle just said.
What did he yell?
How is that not a dream job, right? Like, I mean, that's incredible that someone got paid to write that.
Oh, here's the mines.
Love it.
He just wrote beeping.
They look like smoke detectors, too, to hide in plain sight. So if you're cooking a panini or you walk by one, they're both going to cause you some problems.
See, if they just shot one person, just goes rogues and shoot him in the head.
That's the thing, Cycling. These guys are all company men. They're not going to go against policy.
No, they're so respectable. All these really evil organizations and government James Bond is going up against, yet they never just shoot him inappropriately.
There's protocol.
What's this leaking, Rosé?
I think, all day.
Yeah, pour me a glass.
There's a guy down there with a cup where it's leaking.
It's going to waste.
It's room 10, but it's still good.
It was just flowing down the stairs. It was the start of the boob luge.
You think the font's big enough on this computer? Like a 90-year-old Herbert's working on it?
Misha.
Dude, this is back when vests were really cool. James, the vest, leave some pussy for the rest of us.
Why is Trevor like, why are you still alive? Will someone please just shoot him? He is causing us problems.
Like just right now. But that wouldn't develop well.
I have a gun in my room.
An Omega. Fancy.
I just always curious like how much they pay. You gotta know Omega like was all about saying, especially 7 years after, like, so this is like, the rebrand of the Bond movies.
Yeah, there's got to be some big sponsorship dollars there.
And the Aston Martins.
BMW was in it.
My dad always wanted an Aston Martin off these movies. I'm like, yeah, I don't think we're ever going to be able to get one of those. Sorry. I mean, I'd love to get you one day.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure the cheapest one is $1 million. So, but I think he only wants it because, like, that's what the beauty of the James Bond movies are. It's like product placement. It's all about it.
Oh yeah, these are the movies that put Aston Martins on the map.
So she was able to decode whatever, all in that perfectly timed moment. They bring her back in, still don't kill her, and gonna put them back together again.
It develops well for the plot, but yeah, it's not smart.
Yeah. I just feel like I'd be a much better bad guy than these people.
Yeah, you would just kill everyone.
But why? Like, that's what I'm saying. Why do you have to have standards as a bad guy? If you just know you're the bad guy, which these people know they are the bad guy.
Yeah, Hollywood really needs to step it up on their bad guy developments.
One day I do want to watch like a movie where the bad guy happens to be actually decent at shooting.
Oh, Boris. That's us when our parents catch us looking at porn on their computer.
Okay, I'll never do it again, I promise.
Second mom leaves.
I'm gonna download this one picture of a boob to jack off.
Should take about 11 minutes, and then let's hope it's a good boob.
Yeah. Actually, hold on. Let me download Wonderwall at the same time so I can MX at the right time.
Two birds. Oh, it's acoustic? You wouldn't. Dude, calling her a second level programmer, that's...
What a diss.
It's too far, man.
That's as low as you can go, man. He's just like, he doesn't need to say this stuff. Like, she already knows, but that's just rude, you know?
Oh, man, this CGI, brutal. Like, I think original Star Wars looks better than this in space.
Yeah, the space...
That's a documentary.
A bit much.
The pen thing is like, yeah, you take the pen away, he's useless.
Is it 3 clicks? I can't remember. I know they explained it like an hour ago.
So this is like OCD before people really knew what that was.
This would be my problem if this was me. Like, Q would tell me, hey, don't click it 3 times or it'll blow up, and I would forget 2 minutes later.
Right? Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, wait, what? Oh, fuck.
Oh, now it's a dick measuring contest. Was Boris like an incel before they existed?
He started the first incel chat room. He's like, I don't know why girls don't like me. I'm such a nice guy.
I'm a nice guy. Hey, and I'm not interested. Fuck you, bitch, fat cow.
Why would she go out with me? I don't get it.
Girls only go for douchebags that don't know how to code or do the re-entry system. Did he swap out the pen?
Oh, James.
Or did the pen have to get
No,
wet?
he grabbed it from him because every time I think you cancel it out every other click, and so he took it from him in between the clicks. And then, I mean, I'm assuming. I wouldn't say I'm a MI6 agent.
Don't downplay yourself.
Oh man, I appreciate that. I just needed that boost today.
Well, I mean, you're not though, so.
Oh well, I needed that. I needed that reality check too. Thanks, man.
All right, what can I say to upset you? Because it seems like.
No, man, I have it coming.
Wow, well, look at this guy's little fanny pack thing. We think he's got.
He's a
in there.
little thick for a soldier, in my opinion.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing his cardio.
They had to custom make his uniform.
He's big boned, okay? In your ass? Yes.
A little Mo cardio.
This I definitely remember.
Yeah, this is it. This is the last level. Yeah.
When you do the campaign, the first scene, Trevlin, I remember there's a little bit of story in it. He's like on your side helping you, right? I know he helps you set the mines up, right?
Yeah, you have a conversation with him in the third level. And then you meet him in the graveyard, that one level I was telling you about, and that's when you find out he turned.
But how do they explain any of this? Because there's obviously no audio dialogue, and I don't remember them having like speech bubbles come up.
They do. No, they do have speech bubbles, I think.
They do? I
think. Because I know they have conversation, and now I can't remember whether it's audio, like through audio or.
I'm
like
pretty sure there's no
subtitles.
audio in like any N64 game, but I could be wrong.
I mean, Yoshi always goes, Yoshi!
No,
That's pretty good.
That was actually a pretty good, yeah, Yoshi.
You really
Damn.
don't need more.
neither one of them can hit shit.
Yeah, fuck the whole gun then, right? Because the clip's out.
Just weighs him down, man. I thought he was dead by now. Holy crap, he's still alive?
Forrest?
Yeah. He just
Yeah,
won't die.
He's still coding away.
This is Survivor, like Destiny's Child.
I think that they based
What?
the song
What
on
a-
that,
Oh!
actually.
Holy shit! That's a dive roll. Link would be proud of that.
Yeah.
That would actually really hurt.
Oh, for sure.
Adrenaline right now, though, brah.
Rah.
I do love Boris's irrational self-confidence.
I mean, if you look like that, man, I mean, come on.
Yeah, it'd be hard not to be feeling yourself.
I'm feeling myself.
How do you miss him?
Yeah, you can't miss that, dude.
He's 3 feet away.
Jam the cog.
I do like that James missed a shot that close where it's always his villains are missing. So it's like he's just human, you know?
Who tied the chain?
I was about to say, where'd that chain come from?
Superfluous chain just got added in post. It's hard to believe this whole thing was in a pond a second ago.
I just feel like that would be really bad for rust purposes.
I think they make sure to mix it up
Metal.
every couple days.
Yeah. I don't think they know how that works.
Where's he trying to go right now?
Yeah, he's already.
He doesn't know, man. He lets the world tell him where he's going.
Jesus, take the wheel. Dude, I miss Xenia.
There really
It's too
is
bad-
nowhere to go.
That's true. This movie got so much less horny once Xenia died.
Yeah, she was really the heart and soul of this movie. And thighs and butt.
This is like where they know each other's moves, so how do you fight each other?
I still don't even know why they're like wanting to
episode.
fight about it.
Ooh! That's a rotator cuff. Will James kill him?
He's gonna be out 6 weeks.
He's not Batman. He has no problem killing.
No, but it's just specifically Trevlin. Like, I know they have history. I'm wondering if he can...
Just shoot him. Why do they never...
There are 11 ladders right behind him.
No one ever just shoots. Just take a note. If you're a bad guy out there, shoot your enemy when you have the chance.
It's simple.
Whoa!
He knew what he was doing the whole time.
God, that's so fucking clever. This reminds me of a Cable Guy. When they're on that big satellite.
Man, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah,
I've only seen it the one time.
We should do a commentary on Cable Guy.
That was like one of Jim Carrey's first, like, you know, out of character type characters, right?
Yeah, not just over the top comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Stiller directed it.
Wow. Huh.
It's pretty dark, I remember.
It is very dark, yeah. Well, dude, I've always wanted to try that move.
How's my ass taste?
How would you not fall?
Called grip strength. He's like ready for American Ninja Warrior with this grip strength.
The forearm workout you have to do.
Trevlin should just poop on him. Just give it time, James.
We're in Cuba. I had a lot of beans for breakfast.
This is one of my favorite villain tropes, standing on the hero's hands. Little Empire homage here, right?
Yeah.
God, that's so bad.
Oh.
Who's father?
Maury
James.
comes out. If I can interrupt real quick, the test results.
We have the DNA results.
James freaks out.
Trevlin, you are the father.
Trevlin runs backstage, freaking out. Oh, see, this is what I was telling you, Cycly. He won't let
Why
him die.
did he save his life? Come on.
I'm telling you, he's conflicted, and you know I don't remember this. He's like, are these my boots?
There we go. He just had to.
Oh!
Now, Kobe.
I wish he just exploded inexplicably. Like, doesn't even make.
If Brendan Steer directed this, he would have.
Yes, thank God. Brendan Steer, the director we need.
God, the CGI is so bad right there.
And
He
it's not
survived that?
dead yet.
How are you not instantly dead from that? What a beast. Who'd she get to pilot this thing for her?
She has a gun on the pilot. Sven.
He's a good dude, actually. They probably could have just moved over and picked you up, but I guess... Actually, no, probably not with the blades. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, props might have hit it.
His arm's got to be tired, dude. Like,
Okay, that's a practical effect, though. That looks good.
It does. What caused the explosion, though?
Gas.
That makes sense. That checks out.
Yep.
Trevlin was farting a lot when they had that little quarrel up in the top of the cradle.
I told you he ate beans for breakfast there.
Thank God that thing fell on 006, because I guarantee you if it didn't, they would have tried to bring him back.
He won't die. Fucking Boris, man.
He's got a monocle now.
Yeah. His glasses held up for the longest time.
And those are expensive, so honestly, it worked out.
Lenscraft. Oh, I forgot he
they didn't have
froze.
vision.
He freezes to death? That's an interesting
Which
way to
means he
die.
can come back in the next one.
Sure. It just preserves him, if anything. One
I
of the
like
great...
that this pilot's like, fuck you guys, I'm out of here.
He's not ready to fuck yet. Give him some time.
The boner is from the murder, not anything sexual.
Yeah.
He's
Dude,
like,
she is a horn dog.
Yeah, but
she's
she doesn't
starting
get
to
off to
Mania.
pain.
What did you say, Nate?
She's starting to rival Zania now at this point.
Yeah.
He's like a very extreme kisser. I'm just gonna say that.
He's really into kissing. He's like Steve Carell in The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Over the top.
Her boobs do look like they're full of sand.
He's like, no one within 25 miles. Who the fuck is this?
What a cock block.
We got Mr. Tommy Bahama back.
I wish again he had a yardstick margarita. Y'all fucking? Holy shit.
The Americans.
Good
Serving
sense.
no purpose at all.
These guys in the Getty suits totally would have let them fuck in this field without saying anything.
That's how good of troops they are, man. Oh ho ho. Hey-oh.
She's turned on by the threat of a life sentence.
She can still walk.
Yeah, what the fuck? I know your legs were good enough to fuck a second ago. Now we can't even walk out of the field.
So what was the American CIA doing? They were just hiding in bushes. That's all they were doing.
These resources here, I mean, we could have used a hand. It was like 2 versus 80.
So like they were there the whole time.
They were all facing each other, essentially.
Yeah.
They were just in a circle.
Yeah, that seemed like way too many guys for like a 40 square yardage area.
Seems pointless.
The battle wasn't here, bruh. It was all up on the cradle. But don't worry, me and this woman who shouldn't even be involved fucking handled it.
This IT woman.
Right,
Yeah,
that is
Her name-
007
Her
Goldeneye.
name's Xania Onatopp.
Yep.
No.
Yeah,
Really?
Onatopp is her last name.
Fuck. Well, she does prefer to be on top. All right. Before we close out, Nate Thurman, the American hero, final thoughts on Goldeneye. The movie, not the game, unless you want to add.
Yeah, it was actually. I mean, I hadn't seen it obviously in like 20 years, but it was really enjoyable for what it was. It brought me back into it, but because of this, I'm definitely looking online to buy the game so I can get back into that.
1,000%. If anything, this has made me want to go play fucking campaign mode.
For
Cycling,
sure.
how about you? Probably the most well-versed in the game, as we realized throughout this. How does the movie hold up?
I think the game will always be the focal point when we look back in a historical context, because the movie, if you look at James Bond movies, it just really it didn't do much. It was a transcendent point for transitioning to a post Cold War era, but the video game literally transformed how we look at multiplayer, how we campaign modes, that kind of thing. So I think for some, it sucks for the movie that it will always be overshadowed, but still a good movie in its own right for a mid-90s action film.
Yeah.
I think I kind of have just in my head propped up the movie because of the game. Like, the movie's fine, but the game is transcendent.
Absolutely.
100%.
All right, on that note, for the American hero Nate Thurmond and our legal counsel Rana Cycli, I am the Mayor Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro Force Squad podcast. Thank you guys for checking us out. Check out all of our other movie commentaries at broforcesquad.com or on our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and just type in Bro Force Squad as 3 separate words, you'll find us there. And type in those same 3 words basically anywhere on the internet, and you'll find us. All right, guys, we will see you next time at the movies. First, we have to go find some chick that can kill us with her thighs.
God, that's the dream.
Yep, my boner is ready.